He risked his life shielding the alien princess from a lethal explosion, but woke up surrounded by... The sky above the alien planet Neryssia glowed like liquid violet glass. Captain Jace Rowan stood on the balcony of the Neryssian palace, his uniform dusty from long work hours. Below him, the great crystal city shimmered with gentle blue light. It was peaceful for now, but everyone knew the peace was fragile. Something deep inside the planet had begun to change. Jace had been sent here as part of a human diplomatic team, but over time he had become more than a guest. The Neryssians respected his calm courage, and their young princess Lyra trusted him completely. She was unlike anyone Jace had ever met. Her eyes shone like silver stars, her voice calm and kind even in moments of fear. She had a strange hope in her heart, a hope that humans and Neryssians could learn from each other. But that hope was tested the day the Heartstone began to fail. The Heartstone was the core of Neryssia, a massive energy source deep beneath the palace that powered the entire world. For centuries, it had been stable, silent, and perfect. Then, suddenly, the readings changed. Energy surges rippled through the city. Whole sectors flickered in and out of power. The royal engineers worked day and night, but the numbers kept climbing towards something none of them wanted to believe: an overload. Jace had been helping the engineers, even though he was not trained in alien technology. He had a simple skill. He kept people calm. "We'll figure it out," he told them again and again. "Don't give up now." Lyra joined them in the heart chamber, where the walls pulsed with soft blue light. "The containment field is unstable," one of the Neryssian scientists said nervously. "We have less than 1 hour before the Heartstone releases all its energy." Lyra turned to Jace. "If the Heartstone breaks, the energy wave could destroy half the city." Jace looked at the glowing sphere at the center of the chamber. "Then we don't let that happen," he said. He and Lyra worked side by side, rerouting power, checking connections, and adjusting the energy flow. Sweat ran down his neck despite the cold air. The hum of the Heartstone grew louder. The walls began to shake. Sparks of light floated in the air like drifting fireflies. "Princess," Jace said carefully, "if this thing goes off, you need to leave." Lyra shook her head. "I will not abandon my people." The sound deepened into a roar. The Heartstone flashed white. The containment field started to collapse. Jace's instincts took over. He shouted, "Get down," and reached for Lyra. He pulled her toward the far wall, his arms around her as the Heartstone exploded with blinding light. For one instant, it was like being inside a sun. Sound vanished, time stopped. Then there was only silence and the faint echo of her voice calling his name. After that, everything went dark. Jace did not know how long he was unconscious. He dreamed he was floating in endless light. Voices whispered softly, not words, but feelings. Warmth, gratitude, sorrow. Then, slowly, he felt air again. His first breath was strange. The air tasted sweet, almost electric. He opened his eyes slowly. The ceiling above him glowed softly, shifting in color like crystal touched by dawn. He tried to move, but his body felt heavy, almost weightless. He realized he was lying on something soft, not metal, not fabric, something alive, glowing faintly beneath him. Then he saw the shapes around him. Dot figures stood nearby, tall and graceful, their forms shimmering with faint light. They were Neryssians, but older and more radiant than any he had seen before. Their eyes seemed to hold small stars. They watched him silently, as if unsure whether he was real. Then he heard a familiar voice. "He's awake." It was Lyra. She stepped forward quickly, her eyes bright with emotion. She looked tired, but her smile was real. "You're alive," she whispered. "You actually lived." Jace tried to sit up, but a gentle hand pressed his shoulder. One of the elder Neryssians said softly, "Rest, human." Your body is not as it was. Jace frowned in confusion. What happened? Lyra knelt beside him. The explosion destroyed the containment field, but when it happened, you shielded me. You took the energy wave meant to tear everything apart. It should have ended you. She hesitated, her silver eyes glistening. But it didn't. Jace looked down at his arms and froze. Beneath his skin, faint lines of light pulsed slowly, like rivers of energy flowing through him. What is this? He asked, his voice low. The Elder spoke again. The Heartstone's energy passed through you. No human has ever survived such contact. Yet your body adapted. The heart recognized something within you. Courage, selflessness, the will to protect. It bonded with your essence. Jace didn't know what to say. He felt strange, stronger, but also deeply connected to something vast. He could sense the hum of the city around him. He could feel the pulse of life in every crystal tower, every stream of light. It was as if the planet itself was breathing with him. Lyra touched his hand gently. You are part of Neresia now. The Heartstone saved you because you saved me. He looked into her eyes and saw not pity, but admiration. The room fell silent except for the soft hum of energy in the air. For a moment, Jace wondered if he was still dreaming. He remembered the explosion, her voice, the blinding flash. I thought I was gone, he whispered. Lyra smiled softly. You almost were. But sometimes the universe does not let brave souls go so easily. He looked around the chamber again. The walls no longer cracked or shook. The energy flow was calm. The city outside, visible through the translucent crystal, was bright and alive again. You saved the planet, Lyra said quietly. When you shielded me, your body absorbed the Heartstone's power. The surge that should have destroyed Neresia stabilized instead. Jace blinked. You're saying I fixed it by accident? The Elder smiled faintly. Not by accident. By choice. The others bowed their heads slightly, a gesture of deep respect. Jace felt uncomfortable with the attention. I just did what anyone would do, he murmured. Not anyone, Lyra said. You didn't think of yourself for even a moment. You thought only of saving someone else. He looked at her quietly. That's what we're supposed to do. Lyra seemed to study him, as if trying to understand something about humans that words could not explain. Then she said, Your people speak of bravery. I have seen it now. It is not just strength. It is heart. Jace gave a tired smile. We're not always smart, but sometimes we get lucky. She laughed softly, a sound like wind through glass. Then I am grateful for your kind of luck. He tried again to move, and this time he managed to sit up. The energy flowing through him responded to his thoughts. Soft light shimmered across his hands. It didn't hurt. It felt like being part of something greater than himself. Will this stay forever? He asked quietly. The Elder looked thoughtful. Perhaps. The bond cannot be undone. You are now linked to the heart. You may live longer than any human has before, but the power will test your spirit. Use it with care. Jace nodded slowly. I didn't ask for this, but if it helps keep your world safe, I'll do whatever I can. Lyra's eyes softened. You already have. You gave me my people back. The Elder stepped back, and the others began to leave, giving them space. The room fell quiet again. Lyra stayed beside him, watching the gentle light dance across his skin. After a while, Jace asked, Lyra, what happened to the others? They are safe, she said. No one was lost. The explosion's energy vanished when it flowed into you. The city believes it was a miracle. Jace looked out at the glowing skyline. A miracle, huh? He said softly. Guess that's one way to call it. Lyra smiled gently. They will tell stories of this day for centuries. The human who saved the heart of Neresia. Jace looked down, feeling the soft pulse of energy beneath his skin. "Let's hope I can live up to the story," he said, as the two stood in silence. The Heartstone glowed quietly in the distance, pulsing in rhythm with Jace's own heartbeat. Neither of them spoke again, but both knew this was not the end. It was only the beginning. The days after the explosion passed like a dream for Jace Rowan. The city of Narisia, once trembling on the edge of destruction, now glowed brighter than ever. The energy from the Heartstone pulsed peacefully again. Crystal towers sang in soft tones, and the air was calm. But Jace could feel something unusual inside him, a quiet hum that followed the beat of his heart. The Narisian healers ran many gentle tests. They placed glowing crystals near him, studying how his body interacted with the energy. Each time they watched, the stones lit up softly, as if answering his presence. One of the healers said, "You are like a bridge between two worlds, human and Narisian." Princess Lyra often visited him. She would sit beside his bed and tell him about her people's history. She said the Heartstone had always been alive in a way no one fully understood. It had chosen protectors before, beings of great courage, but never a human. "It must have seen something in you," she said with a small smile. Jace would laugh quietly. "I just did what anyone else would do." She shook her head. "No, most would run. You stayed." When he was strong enough to walk, Lyra took him outside the palace. They stood on a high balcony made of transparent crystal. From there, he could see the city stretching far below, rivers of light flowing between towers, flying creatures like glowing ribbons drifting through the air. It was the most beautiful sight he had ever seen. "Your world," he said softly. "It feels alive." "It is," Lyra replied. "Every crystal, every light is part of the heart's song. You can hear it now, can't you?" Jace closed his eyes. At first he heard only the wind, but then he felt it, a rhythm slow and deep, like a heartbeat echoing through the air. It wasn't sound. It was feeling. "I can," he whispered. Lyra smiled. "You are linked to it now. It will speak to you in time." One night, Jace couldn't sleep. The hum in his body was stronger than before. When he touched the wall beside his bed, light spread beneath his hand like ripples on water. A voice echoed faintly in his mind, gentle and old. "Human, you carry our memory." Jace froze. "Who's there?" he whispered, though he knew no one was in the room. The voice continued, calm and warm. "Long ago, we watched the stars fall silent. We slept within the heart, waiting for one who would remind us of courage." He didn't fully understand. "Are you the Heartstone?" "We are what remains of the first Narisian guardians," the voice said. "When our bodies faded, our spirits joined the heart. You awakened us when you gave your life for another." Jace felt his chest tighten. "Then, you saved me?" "No, human. You saved yourself. You chose to protect without fear. The heart only followed that choice." The light faded slowly. The hum quieted. Jace stood in silence for a long time. The next morning, Lyra noticed something in his eyes, a distant glow, faint but constant. "You heard them, didn't you?" she asked softly. Jace nodded. "The heart spoke to me. It remembers things, old wars, ancient promises." Lyra looked at him with wonder. "You have become part of our oldest legend." Soon after, the Council of Narisia called a meeting. The elders gathered in a circle of glowing chairs, their crystal robes shining faintly. Lyra stood beside Jace as he entered. The elders bowed their heads politely, but there was unease in the air. One elder said, "The heart has changed since the explosion. It sings a new tone, stronger, wilder. We believe it is because of the human." Another added, "His energy may draw the heart beyond our control. We do not understand his kind." Jace listened quietly, then said, "I don't wish to harm your world." If my presence is dangerous, I'll leave. Lyra looked at him quickly. No, you saved us. He means no harm. The oldest elder raised a calm hand. Princess, he speaks truth. Yet the heart's will is its own. If it has chosen him, then he must learn to balance it. They turned to Jace. You must go to the Chamber of Origin. There you will face the heart's true voice. Only then will it rest. Jace nodded slowly. Then I'll go. The Chamber of Origin was deep beneath the palace. Lyra insisted on guiding him. They walked through long corridors made of clear stone that shimmered with faint light. The air grew warmer the farther they went. At last they reached a vast hall. The floor was covered in glowing patterns that pulsed gently like veins. In the center stood a column of pure light, the Heartstone itself. Jace stepped forward. The hum inside him grew stronger, matching the rhythm of the heart. His hands began to glow softly. Lyra stopped at the edge of the chamber. I'll be here, she said quietly. Jace nodded and placed his palm against the glowing column. Instantly, the world around him vanished. He found himself standing in a field of stars. Voices whispered all around him, countless and gentle. You carry our memory. You carry our hope. Jace looked around. Why me? He asked softly. I'm just a man. You are human, the voice replied. And that is enough. You act from choice, not destiny. You remind us of what it means to protect life for its own sake. The stars pulsed brighter, and he felt warmth flood through him. But the bond between us must be balanced, the voice continued. If your heart turns dark, our power will follow. Keep it pure, or both our worlds may suffer. Jace bowed his head. I promise I'll never let it fall to darkness. Light surrounded him, gentle and bright. For a moment, he saw memories that weren't his. The Nerisian ancestors creating the heart, the rise and fall of cities, the endless will to protect life. Then the vision faded. When Jace opened his eyes again, he was back in the chamber. Lyra was beside him, eyes wide. The heart is calm, she whispered. Jace smiled faintly. It's at peace now. She reached out, touching the faint light on his arm. And you? He looked down. The glow under his skin had softened, no longer pulsing wildly. I think I finally understand it, he said. The power isn't mine. I'm just its keeper. When they returned to the surface, the council awaited them. The elders could feel the difference. The city hummed in harmony again. The oldest elder stepped forward and bowed deeply. You have done what no one else could. The heart accepts you as guardian of balance. Jace felt a mix of pride and disbelief. Guardian? I'm no guardian. I'm just a soldier who got lucky. Lyra smiled softly. Maybe that's exactly what a guardian is. The elder nodded. Your name will be remembered among us. From that day, Jace lived among the Nerisians, helping rebuild systems, teaching human ways of patience and effort. In return, they taught him to listen to the world around him. Sometimes he would walk through the glowing gardens at night, feeling the pulse of life through the ground. He often wondered what the heart truly was, machine, spirit, or something beyond both. Lyra often joined him. One evening, they stood together watching the twin moons rise over the city. The wind carried faint music. The song of the heart carried through crystal air. You miss your world, she said quietly. Sometimes, he admitted. But I think I've found a new one. She smiled. When your people come again, will you go back? He thought for a moment. Maybe, but I'll always come back here too. This place is part of me now. Lyra looked at him, her silver eyes bright in the moonlight. Then perhaps both our worlds will share one guardian. Jace smiled. I can live with that. They stood in silence, watching the stars appear one by one. Somewhere deep beneath them, the heart pulsed gently, the heartbeat of two civilizations. joined by one simple act of courage. And though the universe was vast and full of unknown dangers, on this quiet night, one truth shone clear. Sometimes, the smallest act of protection could change the fate of worlds.